Anaerobic training, characterized by high-intensity intermittent bouts of exercise, demands rapid regeneration of adenosine triphosphate, ATP, to meet energy needs faster than the aerobic system can supply. To fill this energy gap, anaerobic systems step in, consisting of the anaerobic lactic system, also known as the phosphagen system, and the anaerobic lactic system, also called the glycolytic system. These systems are central in activities like sprinting, heavy lifting, or plyometrics, where short bursts of power are needed. Over time, this type of training produces long-term adaptations, such as increased strength, power, muscle size, hypertrophy, muscular endurance, and improved motor coordination. In high-intensity sports like football or basketball, the phosphagen system is heavily taxed. Exercises that last less than 10 seconds, such as sprints or power cleans, draw on this system and require complete recovery between sets, typically 5 or 7 minutes, to avoid fatigue. In contrast, interval-based anaerobic training, such as 400-meter sprints or repeated jumps, uses the glycolytic system, where short rest intervals, e.g. 20 to 60 seconds, lead to the accumulation of lactate and hydrogen ions. Programming anaerobic training correctly is vital to achieving desired adaptations. For example, training sessions with near maximal intensity but short rest periods help prepare athletes for the reality of competition, where they must perform under fatigue. So this training method mirrors the metabolic demands athletes face in real sports scenarios, requiring all energy systems to interact dynamically. Anaerobic training triggers a wide array of physical and physiological adaptations, including changes in the nervous, muscular, connective tissue, endocrine, and cardiovascular systems. These adaptations can begin in the first few weeks of training, but often continue for years. Studies show that early-stage adaptations within 4 to 24 weeks occur most prominently, making this the focus of much research. However, long-term consistent training continues to elicit improvements in athletic performance. Anaerobic training causes significant neural adaptations, beginning at the higher brain centers and extending down to the muscle fibers. These changes are crucial for improving speed and power. For example, resistance training increases the efficiency of neural drive, leading to improved muscle recruitment, faster neuronal firing rates, and better synchronization of neural discharge during high-intensity movements. Powerlifters, particularly when training for movements like the deadlift, experience increased recruitment of fast-twitch motor units, type 2 fibers, allowing them to generate more force rapidly. This improvement occurs well before any significant muscle growth takes place, showing that neural adaptations often precede hypertrophy. Training at high intensities leads to increased activity in the motor cortex, especially when the athlete is learning new movements or working at maximal force levels. Over time, the spinal cord itself adapts, allowing for more efficient recruitment of fast-twitch motor units. This is a key reason why untrained individuals often struggle to recruit these fibers fully, resulting in lower performance until these neural pathways are developed. Untrained versus trained individuals. Research shows that untrained people may activate only 71% of their muscle tissue during maximal efforts. In contrast, elite Olympic weightlifters can recruit nearly all available motor units when attempting a heavy snatch or clean and jerk, leading to superior performance. The size principle governs how motor units are recruited. Initially, low-threshold motor units, type 1 fibers, are activated for light loads or endurance-based activities. As force requirements increase, high-threshold motor units, type 2 fibers, are progressively recruited. Heavy resistance training, like squats, causes all muscle fibers, including fast-twitch fibers, to get larger, as all are eventually recruited to move the progressively heavier loads. The firing rate also increases, improving the summation of motor unit activation, which increases contractile strength. An interesting phenomenon called the bilateral deficit occurs when the combined force produced by both limbs working together is less than the sum of the forces they produce independently. This often happens in untrained athletes. However, over time, bilateral training reduces this deficit, sometimes even resulting in bilateral facilitation where both limbs produce greater force together. For instance, rowers often experience a bilateral facilitation during their training. Similarly, the concept of cross-education demonstrates that training one side of the body can improve strength on the opposite, untrained side. This occurs through central neural adaptations and is often used in rehabilitation settings. For example, a basketball player recovering from an injury on one leg can train the uninjured leg, knowing that strength improvements will transfer to some degree to the injured side. So, another important neural adaptation occurs at the neuromuscular junction, the connection between a nerve and a muscle fiber. Research shows that high intensity anaerobic training increases the size of the neuromuscular junction, improves synaptic transmission, and leads to more efficient acetylcholine release, which is critical for faster muscle contractions. This increased efficiency at the neuromuscular junction improves performance in explosive movements such as power cleans or vertical jumps. In addition, reflex potentiation, specifically through the stretch reflex or myotatic reflex, enhances force production during high-intensity movements. Plyometric training, such as depth jumps, utilizes this reflex to improve power output without requiring extra energy, making it a staple in explosive sports training. EMG studies provide valuable insights into how neural activation increases with anaerobic training. So, early phase strength gains are primarily due to improvements in the neural efficiency rather than muscle size, which explains why beginners experience rapid strength gains. Unilateral training can result in strength gains in the contralateral limb, demonstrating the phenomenon of cross-education. Bilateral training reduces the bilateral deficit, leading to improved performance in movements requiring both limbs, such as deadlifts or pull-ups. Reduction in antagonist muscle co-contraction improves net force output. For instance, a sprinter's ability to minimize the resistance from their hamstrings during the explosive action of their quadriceps can improve sprint speed. By understanding and applying these principles of anaerobic training, from neural adaptations to hypertrophy, athletes can maximize performance across a wide variety of sports.